Ryan Harings is here. He is the host of Locked on Badgers. Lots of our friends on the Locked on Network. Of course, we were with Camille Davis last night from Locked on Bucks. But Ryan, welcome into the show. How are you, sir?
Man, better than I deserve. Get to come talk ball with y'all. Nothing better than that. Well,
hopefully
maybe
better than. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe a few things better, like a passing game or a running attack would be helpful. But other than that, I'm great.
Yeah, that does help a football team. Yeah, Ryan, appreciate you jumping on. I do like your background. I mean, you got a great backdrop. I mean, the Wisconsin helmets are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, their uniforms, at times can look really nice. But this team is abysmal.
Stinks.
Yes, it's abysmal. It's bad. Just talk us through what's going on over there. Obviously, McIntosh putting out the vote of confidence for Fickle this week. What does that mean to you? What do you see happening against Oregon this weekend? I mean, I got so many questions. Let's just start with the Fickle stuff and like where this organization is at the moment.
Yeah, this is as low as it's been since I can remember following the Badgers. I'll tell you a really quick story. I was at the Iowa game. We did a meetup event there. I had a bunch of Badger fans. We were 2 rows up from this probably 8-year-old kid who was incredibly into it, cheering for the Badgers every play. By the third quarter, he was cheering for Iowa. We lost him halfway through the game. That's a true story.
Lost an 8-year-old.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. He became an Iowa fan in the third quarter. So that's where we're at. I mean, it is as low as it gets. Every week now has become a discussion about Fickle. So the toxicity just builds upon itself. Every time there's a recruit that tweets something positive about Wisconsin, there's a bunch of Wisconsin fans that'll say, this place is a disaster, go somewhere else. And I don't know how you escape that circle of toxicity at this point.
Well, do you think you just flip and you maybe like bring UW Whitewater up to Division I and take the Badgers down into the FBS or FCS and give them an opportunity there, because they might win some games in the FCS, but clearly struggling here. So moving into this week against Oregon, I was telling these guys, maybe you'll give me some insight, some positive feels on why I should pick the Badgers to cover the, 31.5? Why I should pick the Badgers to cover that. Do you have any, just any notes of confidence that could help me with that pick?
It's going to be really rainy. There is a monsoon type event coming through Autzen, coming through Oregon.
See?
So if you're if we're going to find and squint the path for the Badgers to cover what is a 33-point spread at this point, which, by the way, the fact that we have to squint to find a path for the Badgers to cover 33.5 is insane.
It's not to win, just to cover that number. Yes,
to cover. But listen, it's going to be really rainy. The one of the few spots Wisconsin has done pretty well at this year is punting, field position. Maybe you get in a field position game and the rain kicks in, and
I've been great at punting.
Hey, kickers matter too, Mason.
This is the saddest segment.
Kickers matter.
Tommy's just crying.
Like literally just said that one of the great parts of their game is punting. Like the field, but it doesn't even matter, Ryan. The field position game does not matter if they just give up a touchdown every time anyway.
Yeah, listen, you're asking for raise of hope. I am.
I do like it. Right? Yes.
So no, it's. Think of it this way too. Oregon just came off dropping 750 yards against Rutgers on the road. That offense is averaging 7.5 yards per play. They're tired.
They're tired. They need a rest.
Maybe. I feel like they're still shaking off some of their post-Indiana frustration. And I was talking to an Oregon writer this week, and he said Rutgers was punching bag number 1. Wisconsin's going to be punching bag number 2. I think they're still making a point.
Wow.
That's not good. Yeah. Like, when was the last time like the Badgers are, compared to Rutgers in the football space and like a punching bag for a team?
All right.
I do not like that. Yeah, go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah,
I was going to ask, I'll ask my question after you go.
And I have a couple other things too, but my question right now is, take us through the quarterback position. Like what is, like, I get that in Luke Fickell's tenure, no starting quarterback can stay healthy. And like, so that's part of the legacy, but like, what's going on right now with the quarterbacks? What, like, when we talk about what rays of sunshine are there for the team, what rays of sunshine are there for the quarterback position specifically?
That's a great question, because everything comes and goes with the quarterback, right? That's the queen on the chess piece. It elevates everything. It's a force multiplier if your quarterback is better. So obviously Billy Edwards, listen, I think the staff did themselves a disservice early in the year. He wasn't ready. They tried to rush it. That was a setback. He would probably be, Well, I don't want to say that, but potentially he'd be back by now if he hadn't rushed his development. Gifted to Danny O'Neil, who I would give the staff some credit for bringing in a Danny O'Neil as a guy who started last year to be a backup, but then he got banged up, right? The offensive line didn't hold up. He got gun shy, so he shipped to Hunter Simmons. And this is where people need to be a little fair to Hunter Simmons. He was a backup FCS quarterback last year. This is not fair to him to go play Ohio State in one of the best Ohio State defenses in the last 20 years and now go to Autzen.
It's good coaching. That's what that is. That's good coaching.
It's a problem, right? So when you're asking for rays of sunshine, I would say this bye week, very few teams have ever needed a bye week more than after Oregon for this Wisconsin Badgers team. They're going to go into that Oregon game. Quarterbacks are banged up, but I don't know if Dylan Jones is going to play. I don't know if Darion Dupree is going to play. They could be down to their 4th-string running back. Cade Yakimelli's also banged up. Christian Allegro was banged up last week. That's probably their best defensive player. They're going to go into this game a hobbled version of what is already a catastrophically bad team.
All right, I'm driving to the Illinois border and I'm putting money on Oregon. Say less.
I like we were talking about the positives of the punt game. Now everyone's hurt. I mean, yeah, they will be punting a lot, so we'll see how good that punt game is. I was just looking up something, and I was just wondering if a better option would just be to, if it is a monsoon, just to not go out there, just forfeit. Like, yeah, just that way, like, at least if people bet on this game, they're just getting their money back, right? Like, is that how this works? I mean, I can't imagine a forfeit. You like the line on a forfeit at least wouldn't show you getting beat by 35 or 40. So I don't know. Maybe that's an option for this team. But all joking aside, so what do you see happening at the end of the season? Is there any world where Fickell, is still the coach of this team going into this offseason?
So I a couple things I've repeatedly said, and just kind of talking to people I talk to and on my show, I know people where the frustration is, and it's deserved. It's a very angry fan base. Fickell's not going to get let go in season. At the end of the season, I still think there's a very real chance, because of money constraints at the University of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell is still your coach in 2026. That is not a slam dunk that there's going to be a big offseason change this year. I know where people want to be, but I'm just trying to tell people things I've heard and where I see it going.
They need a philosophical change with how they invest money into the program, right? And like actually go and spend to get the type of players that are going to compete in the Big Ten. Is that the shift that needs to happen?
So it's layered. So yes, 100%. Like they need to spend more money to be competitive. And if you're going to take one positive out of this as a Badger fan, out of that Chris McIntosh letter, which I quite frankly didn't like, but if you're going to take one positive out of that, it is the fact that he talked about money. We need to put more money in, and that's going to outlast whichever coach is currently in place. That money investment is going to, they determine we got to spend more to compete. Yes, thank you. So Fickell or not, that investment in the program is going to pay dividends to whomever is coaching. That's the positive for Badger fans to pull out of it. The caveat is, if you were to go look at other teams in the Wisconsin budget area, and I made this point on a show, imagine turning down Big Ten West Avenue and look at Iowa and look at Minnesota and look at these other schools. They're doing more with their money than Wisconsin is. Wisconsin is not so poor that we should be 37-0 worse against Iowa. And that's the problem.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And then, here's a wild idea. They're allowing G League players to come back and play basketball. I mean, maybe you just try to get like some lower level, what's the UFL player, somebody in that. Maybe they'll start allowing, that kind of world to exist. And maybe that's where Wisconsin kind of makes their hay. They start bringing in the actual professional athletes back to college. I mean, is that a space? Like in all reality, like in all seriousness though, I am curious how you see that, like the frustration of some of these coaches, a G League player getting the opportunity to come back. I saw what did I say? I saw a former PGA golfer is going to get an opportunity to play in a mid-amateur golf tournament. Wow. Like they're just crossing all these lines. Like professional and amateur doesn't exist.
A G Leaguer getting to play college basketball.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, is that a space that is going to happen? Like, you go and you kind of try to make it in the NFL, you try to make it in a professional sport. If it doesn't work out and you have like a little eligibility left, will they open a pathway for these kids to come back to college?
I would never say never with the NCAA and how all this is legislated.
Yeah.
You look at quarterbacks getting 7 years, and Nizer Forkreen not even be able to get an answer on the Badger side. Whether you think he should be back or not, he can't even get an answer. And then you're looking at G League players going down. I would say this, right? If you're a player, why not try it? The NCAA, they've proven that they're nothing but inconsistent. And if you're struggling in the G League, why not just say, well, I'm going to give it a shot and see what they say and make $200,000 in NIL and come back and play college for another year. So who knows what this is the answer, but I never begrudge players for trying it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Make the NCAA actually make a decision, right?
Yeah, heaven forbid they make anything right. Mason, you'll be happy to know that the Badgers are not the biggest underdog of the week. Stanford is an underdog by 30 at Miami. They're the third biggest underdog. The Badgers are the second biggest underdog. And the biggest underdog of the week is a school that is very near and dear to your family's heart.
To my family?
Yeah, Texas Tech, favored by 36.5 over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has completely fallen apart in a way similar to the Wisconsin Badgers. And their coach did get fired or let go earlier this year. Badgers have not. Stanford also looking for a head coach. Wisconsin not looking for a head coach. So we got that going for us, but not the biggest underdog of the week as Oklahoma State takes that crown.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and like obviously we've talked about Texas Tech. Like think about their athletic department.
They
and the
spend
program.
money.
They are going and they are doing the NIL world the right way. They are making it happen across the board with all of their programs. So,
right. We talked about softball. I mean, they had the first $1 million player in softball.
Yeah.
They got the pitcher from Stanford and they got to the finals.
Yeah, and so I mean, what do you see? Like, I mean, obviously we talked a little bit about it, but do you see like that space? And like, have you heard any more about the Big Ten? I know NCAA, didn't they make a ruling that like no conference or team can be owned or like represented by a equity firm or something like that? But what are the grumblings around the Big Ten and some of this money being brought into the conference and spread out amongst the teams?
Yeah, that's a fascinating discussion. So private equity, I think at some point is going to get involved in the conferences no matter what. There's just too much money at stake. The Big Ten has talked in a couple different directions with this. Do you go a Texas route almost where in the Big 12, Texas got a larger share than everyone else? Private equity comes in and Texas gets an outsized share because of Texas. They have that market share. Or is it spread evenly in the way that the Big Ten would traditionally do it? I can tell you right now, the schools like Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon are fighting against a level share for everyone because that levels the competitive balance. Whereas schools like Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota are going to fight for that. If private equity comes in and it comes out in a revenue sharing model that favors the big market schools, that's going to bury even more schools like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's going to put them even further behind the 8 ball. And this is really quickly, this is why this is such an inflection point right now in college sports. It really matters that you're good right now as they start to determine who's going to get market share, who's going to get bigger chunks of NIL, this is a really competitive arms race. Falling behind now is much worse than falling behind 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, whether like the philosophy you agree with, I mean, you have to be involved in it or you are going to miss out. And yes, like you're saying, like if it becomes a shared equally, like almost like the NFL, like look at the parity in the NFL. Like it is a week-to-week league. Every team has an opportunity to win. The point spreads are really tight on, most of the time because it's just like you don't know. It's almost a coin flip. So that I don't think that would be good for college sports. Like you do need some, but you can't just have all the money going to the top schools and saying like, oh, y'all are great. We're going to pay you. And because then all of a sudden now you're going to have to mold the Big Ten, the SEC, all the big schools, and they're just going to be a professional sports league, and that's where that's headed right now, unless something changes. So, all right, what I will talk like I do want to shift a little focus because we haven't talked, but the Bucks played last night. Mine's kind of on basketball. What's your mindset on Wisconsin? Wisconsin basketball as it's going to get started here pretty soon.
Yeah, exhibition game tomorrow against Oklahoma. That's going to be a really good one.
Nice.
It's so interesting, too, when you see the juxtaposition of football to basketball, where football got, I think, more money, more resources. To some degree, Greg Gard has had to scrap a little bit more for what he gets. And then you see the return of investment and what Greg Gard has put together. This team this year is going to be really good. Offensively, they're going to cook. Bringing in a guy like Nick Boyd, I can tell you right now, the staff, having been in a practice, having talked to some people on staff, they're blown away by what he's bringing in. You're talking about a veteran point guard, has had Final Four experience. That's going to shift John Blackwell to the shooting guard spot and really open up his ability to score. This team is loaded offensively. There are questions about size. The Big Ten's a monster. You're going to have to play Purdue, Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois. UCLA is going to be good this year. But this team's going to be really good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be competitive. And I think fans are going to really have a blast watching Greg Gard's squad. And credit to him, right? This is the same. He's also had to adjust to NIL, but he's made that adjustment, whereas other coaches have struggled.
Yeah, for sure. Tommy, Mitch, y'all got anything?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this Badger team. I got a problem with this, Ryan, just because if there is not a plan for Luke Fickell to be a part of this next year, that's kind of what I got with this message is like McIntosh is like, oh, next year, we're going to get all in. Like, I don't even know if they're going to be a part of this, right? Like McIntosh could absolutely also be a part of this change too. Like, how is that not affecting recruiting today, right? Where you've seen guys that they just lost a commit. Now that's back open and around in the wide receiver room. Like, I just feel like there is no easy fix until decisions are made, and they're only putting themselves even further back if they don't make these decisions sooner, Ryan.
That is really well said. And you mentioned Tayshaun Bardo decommitted. You have Aiden Reeder, who's now going to be taking a visit to Michigan. That's a prize linebacker commit. Jaden Petit just announced he got an offer from Washington. That's the prize running back commit. Amari Latimer, he's a receiver. Latimer, the prize running back commit, was at Ohio State. It's like this is all falling apart. And when I talked about the toxicity of it, it's seeping into everything. It's seeping into, I can tell you for a fact, other schools are now negatively recruiting Wisconsin in ways they were never able to before. You were never able to. And they should be 100%. That's fair. They should absolutely be doing that. And they are. So I think your point is dead on. With the Chris McIntosh letter, I hated it because it should start with, we messed up, I need to fix it. There was no accountability in that letter, which really frustrated me. And I think Midwestern folks, Wisconsin folks, it doesn't fix everything, but we respond well to accountability. We respond well to ownership. And there was none of it.
Well, that's like whenever you think of like the Bucks, organization, like a lot of moves, and it's always very like straightforward, transparent. Like, and I agree with you there. Like, either we are moving on and we're firing Fickell, or Fickell's our guy. We're going to lean into NIL. We're going to be spending recruits. You want to come here because we are going to do it a different way. We're changing our philosophy and we're going at it. Instead, it's like, we're with Fickell. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. And like, it was too wishy-washy. It's like, you would have been better off not putting in something out there. And instead of it needed to be more direct, concise. This is how we are going to get the recruits to come and become a winning football program. Because I would have been all right if you're like, hey, we're sticking with Fickell. He's going to have another year, and we are going to change our philosophy on how we get players. Then people would have been like, okay, like they have had a strategy that hasn't worked. Now we're adjusting, and we're going to see what next year holds. But now everyone's in limbo, and I think like your point exactly. All these recruits are just saying like, all right, I'm going to look elsewhere because I have no clue what Wisconsin's doing.
Yeah, it's well said.
Oh, man. Wow. Well, this is yay.
Well, Tommy's just sad, Ryan. I mean,
I think
Ryan, you've been awesome, but Tommy is just a sad.
Yeah, it just sounds like there's no hope, and it's going to be the same thing next year with a worse with a worse schedule too, where it's like, oh yeah, they don't have to play Ohio State, they don't have to play Michigan next year or whatever it is, the Oregon next year, like. And then they're still going to be terrible. Like, and then everything, and then he'll get fired next year. Like, oh, great. Yeah, that's a real great solution, Wisconsin. And Ryan, I love your point too. Like, no one believe this university is poor. No one believe that. That is not the case. And they have money. They absolutely do. And you can prove that with McIntosh saying, like, we got to spend more of it next year. Like, great job, University of Wisconsin. You did a bang up job on that. So I thank you, Ryan, for someone who is covering this team and involved with this team very much so, to be like, yeah, they're not poor. I know they're not poor. They're defiant. That's what it is.
They're defiant. All right, Ryan, before we let you go.
I don't think they're poor or defiant. I think they're like dumb. Like, I think they're broken.
Okay, great. Yeah, right.
It doesn't make it better.
Same difference.
But I think it's a different like to be defiant, you need to be intelligent. I don't think they're intelligent.
Yeah.
It's not creative. It's
Right.
not stuck in the mud. Like it's just they're not finding ways to creatively stretch whatever, if they do feel like they don't have the money, like you got to get creative. So you're going with a philosophy that is broken, that is dumb, that isn't creative in any way. And so something has to change. Either you just throw caution to the wind, or you have to change the people in leadership. Those are your two options.
Or they're defiant and dumb.
Then that's a really bad combination. All right, Ryan.
Ryan, we love you though. You are smart and intelligent and positive, and we appreciate that.
Exactly. Tell us where we can find your stuff, where listeners can go and check out everything you're doing, and any projects, anything you have coming up that you want to plug.
Nice.
Yeah, really appreciate it as always. Ryan and Bucky on Twitter, or you can just find my show Locked On Badgers, YouTube, all that. I would push back on Thunder. I am neither smart nor intelligent either. If you saw my high school transcript, you would see that. I barely graduated. Like, there's nothing going on up here. I promise.
You're one of us. You're one of us.
I promise you that. And I'm right there with Tommy. Like, this stuff breaks my heart. Like, first and foremost, I'm a Badger fan. That's why I do this. And it kills me because I love this program. My kid is 11. He's getting into Badger football, and he's going to school. And he's got buddies that are like, why not just cheer for Notre Dame? And he comes home, and I'm like, yeah, why? I got nothing for you, man. Maybe you should.
Ryan,
don't let him watch the Oregon game this weekend because he'll become a Ducks. He'll be an Oregon Duck after this weekend.
Ryan, my daughter's a sophomore in high school, and she's always wanted to go to Wisconsin. And like, I think for the first time ever, she's starting to question that. And like, I tell Tommy this all the time. I was in undergrad accounting with Chris McIntosh. Like, I covered the team back then. That's how old I am.
He failed that class.
Relax. But I just want to shake him and be like, you can't be teaching this 10 to 18-year-olds in the state of Wisconsin to not want to go to Wisconsin because you guys suck so bad. Like, fix this now.
It's such an important piece. Not just obviously great education, great all those things, but like the sports drive it breaks up all the monotony of going to class and all of those things. Like, it is the duty of the athletic department to put a good product on the field and go out there and be successful. So, Ryan, I really appreciate you. That was awesome. And look forward to talking to you again, down the stretch here. We'll see what happens, and we'll get you back on too to talk men's basketball and everything going on.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan.
No, appreciate you guys.
All
All right. That's Locked On Badgers. Ryan Harings joining us on the Mason Crosby Show. We got to get to our picks, Mace. There's an NFC North game tonight.
I know.
And the Chargers are not wearing yellow. You'll be glad to know they are doing their new retros, which are like those navy blue with electric lightning bolts. Yeah, those look much sharper than that monstrosity.
Herbert.
Relax. We don't even know who's playing quarterback for the Vikings. We'll find out next here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, buddy.